Hey, what's up guys? It's Casey with iTracker360. These are some tips on using the URL builder. So if you're new to the URL builder or you're not sure, why you should be using this tool, just follow this video and I'm going to show you some real good stuff. So let me kind of prove the case or show the case on why you should be using the URL builder. So if you're doing, let's say Facebook marketing or Google AdWords marketing or pay-per-click or whatever it is, or even email marketing, then you're going to want to use this tool. On my website, I have kind of a screenshot of a contact record that uses iTracker360, where you collected tracking data, and then one without iTracker, where there is no tracking data. And so if you want to get this detailed tracking data where the source, medium, campaign, the keyword, all that stuff, and the lead source is set really, it's pretty targeted, then you'll want to use the URL builder, basically. So if I was building, let's say I was building a URL or a blog post or something about the free version of iTracker, and I wanted to put it on Facebook. I wanted to put it in a sidebar ad, maybe a fan page post, maybe a cost per click post, or a cost per impression post, or something like that. And out of those 4 places where this, where this content would be running, I kind of want to see what's converting the best. So if you want to do that, then you'll need to use the URL builder. Likewise, let me show you some people. Like, here's Rackspace. This is an ad on Rackspace, or on Facebook for Rackspace. If I click on this link, notice they have a UTM medium as social, the source is Facebook, they have some campaign stuff, the content tag, they have all these URL parameters. So building custom URLs with these UTM parameters, it's industry standard, there's nothing new about it. Likewise, if I look at this link, some of these links might have UTM parameters, some of them might not. It just kind of depends on who's doing the marketing. But using the URL builder and building custom links is nothing new, and if you're doing Facebook marketing, you should probably be doing this. So let me show you how to use the URL builder. I have one URL built, so I'm just going to load that up, and so I'm going to drive people to this destination URL, to this page. Here's the source, medium, campaign, the keyword I put NA, and then the content I just put URL builder. So I have one of them as a sidebar ad, and so kind of following this example, let's do a fan page post as the medium here, and then let's do a CPC post also. So I'm just going to put that in there and hit build. So once you build them, they'll start populating in the list below. And let's say a CPM post here, and I'm going to build that. So now I have 4 different URLs. I could use the short URL, and that way if I do that, I could start tracking click stats. So to do that, just click on the URL to load it, and then shorten the URL. So once you shorten it, the table will update and you'll get the short URL. So I'll go ahead and just shorten all these. Alright, so I have short URLs for all of these. If you click on this little graph icon, it'll bring up a little info page. And I'm going to click on this link. So this is going to trigger basically a click for this link. So if I click on that, you'll see that I'm redirected to basically the page with all the tracking data that we specified. So this one was for the CPM post. If I go back to, let's see, the CPM post to the stats, you'll see that there was 1 click. If I click on this page again, I just opened it in a new tab. I'll refresh the stats. So now there's 2 clicks. What I can do, instead of going to each one of these little stat pages for each individual link, I can just update the click stats here, and this will run through, query the Google API, and it will pull all the click stats into the URL builder. So then you can look at all-time stats, or for the month, or for the last 2 hours, and things like that. You can just kind of toggle that. You can, if you want to update the click stats again, there is a 60-second wait period, so you can update these click stats every 60 seconds basically. That's not automated, so if you come in here and you want to look at all the click stats, just click update click stats. It'll start updating immediately, and you'll have all the click stats right there. So Now, that's kind of how you build custom URLs, and what data should you collect. That's kind of up to you. So if you were going to be posting this content on Facebook, maybe you don't really care to know if the sidebar converts better, or the fan page, or the CPC or CPM converts better. Maybe that's irrelevant, and so maybe instead of this medium, there's only going to be just one medium called Facebook social for social media site, and then free version, and you might not have these four. But if you want to get this detailed data, this is what you'll have to do: is you'll have to build these URLs and then put each link in their respective location, so that when somebody clicks on it, the tracking data is sent to your site in the form of these URL parameters, and then iTracker, we can read the data, store it in a cookie, we can pass it into Infusionsoft or sync it up with your account, later using the API. So that's kind of the basics of the URL builder. So that covered stats, building these URLs. So let's talk a little bit about what you should put in each of these fields. So what you put in here is entirely up to you. Source, medium, and campaign are going to be required. So at the minimum, at least use those three fields. If you're tracking lead sources with iTracker, we'll use the source, medium, and campaign as the lead source. And then you also have, under the advanced settings, some options to include the term data and the content data in that lead source value if you need to. So whatever you want to put in these fields, it's entirely up to you. I would recommend to be consistent. So if you're going to use fan page post as the medium, then always use fan page post as the medium whenever you go to make those posts on Facebook. Because what you don't want to do is have a medium called post, another one called Facebook post, another one called fan page post. Just be consistent so all of your data is clean. And if you type in something and you're not sure what it was, if you just type in like a letter, we'll pull down everything that matches the medium, and we'll kind of have that so you can pre-populate your field. Another thing you can do is you can search. So if you're looking for all the fan page post data, you can put like fan page and just hit search, and that'll pull up all the URLs with the word fan page in it. That is case insensitive, so you can do fan page. It'll still pull up those results. Let's see. So that's as far as putting values in there. It's entirely up to you. The source would be like Google, Facebook, Infusionsoft, something like that. The medium would be CPC for cost per click, or email, or tweet, or something like that. That's kind of a medium. A campaign is going to be whatever you're, if you're building a series of URLs that you're going to put out there for some certain campaign. Maybe this is going to be like a summer campaign, or a Christmas campaign, or Black Friday campaign, or something like that. Some people will put dates for their content. So if they're doing like several Facebook posts, they'll put maybe like the date. If let's say it's January 1st, 2017, they'll put that as for the content. So then they can kind of see if somebody comes through in their lead source or in their custom field data, they can see this data that comes in and says, oh, they clicked on a post that we made back in 2017. That's kind of cool, So anyhow, that's the URL builder. There's also a lot of other information on Google AdWords and using value track parameters. So if you're doing like AdWords marketing, there's things like the keyword value track parameter. So if you want to dynamically collect the keyword that triggered the ad for the Google ad, you would use this value track parameter for that, and then use the tracking template that Google AdWords has built into it. You would use AdWords tracking templates. So there's a video series right here on all that. So watch that if you're doing Google AdWords. Also, and this one's really important, so for this destination URL, for this like where you put in your website, this trailing slash, it matters. Sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it really does. So it depends on how your website is configured. So for instance, I could take this trailing slash off and hit build, And notice now I have a URL here built. One has a trailing slash and one doesn't. So sometimes when you copy like a URL that's pointed to a folder like this that does not have a trailing slash, some websites will do a redirect. So notice there's no trailing slash right here. There's not a slash. If I hit enter, notice how there is a trailing slash now, and that redirect, it just dropped all the tracking data. So all the UTM data, it's all gone. So this isn't going to track as you would expect. So make sure that in a place where you need a trailing forward slash that you have it. So if I hit enter on this has a trailing slash. If I press enter, notice that there's no intermediate redirect or anything like that. But on this other page where we had the tracking data with no trailing slash, but we had a query string right here, if I hit enter, notice how there's a redirect, it dropped all the tracking data, and it added this trailing slash. So that's really important to know, because you don't want to build a whole bunch of URLs and you left off the trailing slash and none of your data is getting tracked right, you know. So just be cautious of that. If you're not sure whether you should include a trailing slash or not, just go to, like, let's say, just go to the page. Like, for instance, here's a page and it's loading. So see how this redirected and added a slash? So this would be the page that you want to use. This would be the URL right here, the final URL that you put into the URL builder. Now, some sites will support HTTPS and some will only support HTTP. If your site supports HTTPS, you should use the secure version of your site, because that's what Google's gonna, basically index, is the HTTPS version. And also, whenever there is traffic sent to the HTTP version of your site, a redirect could occur that redirects a non-secure web request to a secure web request. And in that web redirect, depending on how your web server is set up, it could do a redirect and drop the parameters or the query string off your URL, which basically you lose the tracking data, right? So just be cautious of the redirects that occur and use the secure version of the link if your site supports it. Make sure you include a trailing forward slash if it's pointed to a folder. If it's pointed to like a .html file, don't include the trailing slash. All that stuff's important to know, and it often I often see it where I get a support ticket and someone says, hey, the data is not making it to my site, like, what's going on? And sometimes it's because of the trailing slash or the lack of trailing slashes. So just be consistent. So I'm going to delete this URL and make sure you have the trailing slash when needed. So that's basically the URL builder and why you should use it, some tips on using it, some little gotchas as far as trailing slashes and tracking and things like that. You can use short URLs if you want to have kind of like a easy way to view click data. You don't have to use the short URLs, but you just won't be able to click stats. So just reach out to me if you have any questions. If you're on the free version of iTracker, you're able to do all this stuff up to 10 URLs, and then we basically cut you off, and you can upgrade if you'd like. But anyhow, hope you enjoy iTracker. Reach out to us if you have any questions. Thanks.